What's going on, guys? How's it going? Welcome to another Let's Go episode on this beautiful, kind of cloudy, partly cloudy day. Hope it stays that way, because I am actually going out of town for a dentist appointment. But I'm not just going to go to the dentist. I'm also going to go check out one of my new favorite arcades in Oklahoma City called Up Down. Two-story arcade with two bars. So it's a barcade, technically, but it's a really neat place to go. I just recently, in the past 6 months, found this place out. So last time we went to Wichita Falls, Texas, to check out a couple arcades, the Deep End and Maniac Mansion, and now we're going back to Oklahoma City. So I've mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of barcades because I don't drink, and they basically tend to have a bad reputation with me as far as quality goes, because a lot of barcades tend to, and I've said this before, a lot of barcades tend to put more care into the bar, which makes sense. That's their main source of income for the place, and less attention into the arcades, which again makes perfect sense. That's your money maker. That's how they're keeping it running. But the problem with that is that you constantly get these arcade cabinets that are in poor shape, or they're just not in the best working condition, or they don't get regular maintenance or fixed regularly, and they're more often than not they're bars first and arcades second. Up Down, however, completely destroys that notion. That it can absolutely be both. Maybe it's just the ones around here that are of that quality, but this place is awesome. Not only is it just a barcade that has good quality games, it has probably higher quality as far as upkeep and maintenance in the games that I've seen in any arcade around here, that I've seen in a long time. A lot of them are look to be even completely restored, which is nice. I mean, all new control panels, new buttons, everything. And the presentation is also another thing that I really like. It just has an overall very cool, very hip vibe. It's always got tons of people there, usually on the weekends. It's just packed, so it's a very popular place. But the presentation is also really nice. They have nice little cards. They put these like little laminated sort of cards on each arcade game, showing the local high score. If you set a high score, you can let the I'm assuming it's the owner know about it, and he can come check it out. He'll fill you out a card, and you can have your name on there, which I got last time I was there. I got one on Crystal Castles. I want to say August. I think it was in August when that happened. So I'm kind of interested, kind of excited to see if it's still there. I bet somebody's beat it by now, but we'll find out when we get there. That'd be really cool if it's still up there. But the way this place works is a little bit different from the ones we've been at before, where you sort of pay a cover fee and the games are set to free play. This place actually uses tokens. You actually have a token machine, and you have to pay for each game, just like back in the day. So it's pretty neat. I actually like that. I like collecting tokens from different arcades, and I like how it's replicating that old experience. And it's kind of neat to think that, like, after all this time dying off, it kind of seems like they're starting to come back in a way. Now, obviously, I'm having to go to cities in order to play these, but the fact that there's even one arcade around, much less a few, is kind of nuts, It's just, after going through such a dark age where it was you could not find an arcade at all. You were lucky if you found an arcade game, much less a full arcade. And it was usually, if you did, it was maybe in a bowling alley or it was something else. But it was kind of, you didn't, for a while there in the aughts and everything, you couldn't find an arcade at all. And at least not in any area sort of around here. You'd have to go to really bigger cities, maybe, to find those things. But now it's kind of nuts to think that just in this sort of in the Texoma area, there's at least there's a handful of them. There's a decent amount. So it's kind of nuts to think about that. Anyway, I'm definitely excited to check it out again. Every time I've gone, it's been very fun. There's always been people there. got music playing. It's just a good time. Everybody seems pretty cool and pretty chill there, and I'm excited about it. There's definitely some sort of sense of community there, and I'm excited to check it out again and see if they got any new games. Last time I went in, they had a new, they had switched one game out or put a new arcade game in that was like a Super Mario or something. So I'm excited to see if they got anything new. I'm hoping they got some more. I'm going to check out the Neo Geo, because I know they have Bust-A-Move in that Neo Geo, and I'm hoping maybe they have a Magical Drop now or something like another puzzle game. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just drive, and I will get back with you guys right now. All right, here we are. I'm going to go check it out and hang out a little bit and see if they'll let me in and see if they'll let me record stuff, and if so, then we'll go check it out.
Controlling transmission.
Like a flying saucer.
Alright, so let's do a quick rundown of everything Up Down has to offer. First thing, when entering, to the left is a really nice Final Fight cabinet. Right across from this we have an NFL Blitz 99. I personally prefer a 2000, but this is still really solid. A WWF WrestleFest, which I've never played, and an original NBA Jam, non-tournament edition. So it's kind of a little sports section right here. Next up we have a game that seems to be in every single arcade, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. An original Gauntlet, which is one of my favorite arcade series, but unfortunately the joysticks needed some work, so it was a little wonky. And of course we have the mandatory Simpsons cabinet. Personally, I would have switched the Gauntlet cabinet with the Final Fight cabinet to make a little beat 'em up section. But who knows, maybe it was too big or something, and they already tried that. Over here we have a really interesting 4-player Pac-Man game. Each player has their own Pac-Man, and the goal is to be the last one standing, which you can do by eating your opponents. It's pretty fun. Alright, over here we have a row of classics, starting with a Versus Wrecking Crew. A Popeye. Donkey Kong. And Super Mario Bros., which does not look like any Super Mario cabinet I've ever seen, except for the control panel. And to round it out, they have a pretty nice Punch-Out. Around the corner, we have a couple driving games, as in the way of Spy Hunter, which is a little beat up, but still worked perfect. and the stand-up version of Outrun, which I remember most as a kid. Across from this, we have a shooter section, starting with Terminator 2 Judgment Day, then Point Blank 2, Carnival, which is a criminally underrated shooter, and then of course we have another arcade regular, an Area 51 Maximum Force combo cabinet. Alright, next up we have the small but very strong fighting game lineup. We have a Killer Instinct, followed by a Mortal Kombat 2, Tekken 3, and Soul Calibur. Also off in its own little corner, they have a Super Turbo cabinet, and all of the fighting game cabinets are in pretty damn good condition. And finally, the last game on the first floor is also the most cleverly placed game, Tapper. Which they put directly across from the fully stocked bar. Okay, let's go ahead and move upstairs and see what else they got. There seems to be a mashup of all different types of games sort of mixed together up here, instead of being sectioned off like they are downstairs. Let's start with this 2-slot Neo Geo cabinet. It didn't have Magical Drop like I was hoping, but it still had Puzzle Bobble and Samurai Showdown 2. Next to this we have a Burger Time, Tetris, and an Out of Order Arkanoid, which kind of stinks. And then an amazing condition Altered Beast. This might be a good time to point out that a lot of the cabinets have been completely restored with things like new control panel art and T-molding. Even some of the cabinets themselves aren't originals, as in the case of Arkanoid, but they all look and feel incredible. Continuing on, we have possibly my favorite game in the joint, Crystal Castles. And yes, I was really happy to see my high score I set back in August was still there. Next to this is a Stargate, and a Marvel Superheroes that seems to have some kind of ROM issue going on. Across from this we have some more classics such as Centipede, Rampage, Galaga, and of course Miss Pac-Man. Probably the most impressive cabinet here, for me, is the 6-player X-Men. If you have never played one of these, it's something that can truly only be experienced in an arcade. It's such a sight to see with its super widescreen display and giant body. It's really cool. Next is a game I've never played or heard of, but I fell in love with it while I was there, Hypersports, which kind of reminded me if Decathlete had an 8-bit game. We got a Frogger here, Dig Dug, Track and Field, and an Out of Order Moon Patrol. Then we have one of the best racing games of all time, Off-Road, which I could play for hours upon hours. They also have a GameCube hooked up to a projector for Super Smash Bros. And things like that. I wasn't able to get any footage of all of the pinball tables. There were 5 tables downstairs, and they were pretty much filled up, so I didn't want to bother anybody. But here's the upstairs selection: X-Men, Family Guy, and Funhouse. Also, they have another bar, and some really nice balcony seating. So that's pretty much it. Remember, this is not a cover charge barcade like a lot of the arcades we've been to. This is an old school style, everything costs tokens arcade. But it's a fantastic arcade and a lot of fun. Late night on the weekends it gets really busy, and it's a perfect place to go socialize, get a drink, and play some good games if you're wanting to get out and have a good time. Make sure you check it out if you're in the area, and if you do, let me know what you think.
All right, I'm getting out of here now, heading home. That was a lot of fun. I don't think I noticed. Well, I noticed 2 new things since I was there last. I think that Versus Wrecking Crew, I think, was new. I don't remember seeing that before. And I think the beer tapper game, I think was also new. I don't remember having any recollection of seeing that before. So it may have been there. I may have just forgot, but I don't remember it at all. So that's cool. Got a lot of seemed to have some new stuff. And I had 2 of those non-alcoholic beers, and they were delicious. Everything was still in good condition, good shape, aside from like some joysticks on the fighting games, but it's probably to be expected, like considering that they are fighting games, you're going to get them wore in a lot. They're still miles ahead of better quality than every other Mortal Kombat cabinet or whatever I see in other arcades. They're usually just completely torn up and unusable and don't even work. I mean, they're still miles ahead of that, so don't get me wrong, it's still good. But yeah, they were still good, and they had still quite this. They got a decent selection of fighting games. They got the first Soul Calibur. You saw Tekken 3. I mean, a killer lineup. I mean, Mortal Kombat 2, Super Turbo. So it's like, and Killer Instinct. So kind of, I mean, those 5 games right there. If you're gonna have like 5 fighting games in your arcade, I mean, those are 5 of like the best, like some of the most classic. So just a great selection, you know. It's really cool. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be going back there more often. Maybe next time I'll bring Leroy and we'll actually film us playing some games or something. Or my goal, my idea is I would love to do like a Portal Pals episode in person at an arcade, like record when we, like, you know, because we played arcade games for episodes before, but none of them have been like, you know, we've always played on either like a Raspberry Pi or like a compilation disc or whatever. But even though for some games I have like PCB boards and I have a Super Gun so we can play them like that, but they're never really the authentic thing. So I kind of like the idea of maybe one day actually filming, setting up, if they let me, a you know, tripod or something at one of these arcades, and actually filming a full-blown, like just a playthrough or an episode or something like that, or maybe a few of in-person arcade games. So that's the idea. Eventually we'll get there. So now I think I've pretty much covered most of the big arcades in this area. So that, like I said, there's not a ton. There's definitely more than there always like have been. It's since, like, you know, the aughts. There's definitely more, but we've kind of hit to see Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City, and all that. So I think we're gonna have to go out, like, we're gonna have to spread out east and west, or maybe go a little north, you know, a little more north, and find some other ones. Might have to go out of state again to find more, but eventually when we have time, you know, and all that, that's the plan, is to go visit as many as I can. Anyway, I'm gonna get driving, gonna get home, but thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for coming with me on this trip. It's been awful lonely, but I kind of liked it, you know. Sometimes it's nice to just drive and talk to yourself like a madman. I'd be doing that if the camera wasn't here too, probably. All right, turn. Yeah, why you slowing down for?